Hello everyone. Now in this class, now we will solve some more problems based on the calculation of the moment of resistance of the flange sections as well as box sections. Next problem. An unsymmetrical I-section bridge girders has the following sectional properties. Width and thickness of the flange is 1200 mm and 360 mm. Web portion is 240 mm thick. Centroid of the section is located at 580 mm from top. The girder is used over a span of 40 meters and the tendons are unbonded with a cross-sectional area of 7000 mm square. The cross-sectional area of 7000 mm square are parabolic with an eccentricity of 1220 mm at the center of the span. Then he has given the FCK. FCK is equal to 45 Newton per mm square. FPE is equal to 1200 Newton per mm square. Estimate the ultimate flexural strength. Estimate the ultimate flexural strength of the section. This is the problem. It is an unsymmetrical I section. Means we have to write the unsymmetrical I section. He has given the properties, this cross-sectional properties of the flange as well as web. It is 1200 mm width of the flange and 350 mm thickness of the flange. And also has given the thickness of the web. It is 240 mm. Web portion is 240 mm thick. The thickness of the web is 240 mm. The center of the section, centroid of the section is located at 580 mm from the top. Means neutral axis is located at a distance of 580 mm from top of the beam. From top of the beam, it is neutral axis is located at a distance of 580 mm. And he has given about the specifications about the tendons. The girder is used for a span of 40 meters. Means L is equal to length of the girder is equal to 40 meters. And the tendons are unbonded. The tendons are unbonded. It implies that we need to follow table number 12. With a cross-sectional area 7000 mm square, means AP is equal to 7000 mm square, are parabolic with an eccentricity of 1220 mm. Eccentricity means CG of the concrete to the CG of the steel. So this is the eccentricity. Eccentricity is equal to 1220 mm from the CG of the concrete to the CG of the steel. The distance is known as eccentricity. Now, once we know these two values, that is position of the neutral axis and eccentricity. If we add these two, that will be the effective depth of the section. That is effective depth is equal to 580 mm plus 1220 mm, which is equal to 1800 mm. Now the effective depth is equal to 1800 mm. Small d is equal to 1800 mm. Then he has given FPE, effective pre-stress after all losses. In this problem, he has not mentioned the FP value. FP value na mention ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. FPE value ಅಷ್ಟೇ mention ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. Estimate the ultimate flexural strength of the section based on the required given data. First, we need to write down the based on the required data. First, we need to write down the sectional properties. It is FCK is equal to 45, FP is equal to 1200 Newton per mm square, AP 7000 mm square, effective depth 1800 mm. Then L by D ratio, it is very important. This L by D ratio is very important because we need to refer the table number 12. L by D, span to the depth ratio, span is 40 meters, 40 into 10 raised to 3 in terms of mm, divided by effective depth. Effective depth is equal to, here we have calculated it is 1800 mm. Then we got the L by D ratio as 22.22. That is the effective span to the depth ratio, L by D ratio 22.22. Yes, it is a planned section. First, we need to assume that neutral axis lies inside the flange. That is, first we need to calculate the effective reinforcement ratio, AB FPE divided by B into D into FCK. First, breadth of the flange here, B suffix F, AP 7000 into FTE 1200 mm. Width of the flange is 1200 mm. 1200 into effective depth 1800 into FCK 45. Substitution and simplification, we get the effective reinforcement ratio as 0.086. Now L by D ratio is 22.22, and referring the table number 12, we have the L by D ratio for 20 as well as 30, but for the L by D ratio 22.22, we need to interpolate the values. Yes. The effective reinforcement in this problem, it is 0.086. 0.086, that will come around between 0.05 and 0.1. ಈ ಎರಡು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ 0.08 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Then first we need to take on the L by D ratio 30 and 20 separately. For the effective reinforcement ratios of 0.05 and 0.1, we are written here. For 0.05, for L by D ratio 30, it is 0.16. For L by D ratio 20, it is 0.16. And also for the effective reinforcement 0.1 and L by D ratio of 30, it is 0.3. And for L by D ratio 20, it is 0.32. Now we need the value for 0.086. So this is the effective reinforcement ratio. For this effective reinforcement ratio, we need to calculate the XU by D values. XU by D. Now first we need to write down the calculated L by D ratio here. On calculation, we got the L by D ratio as 22.22. 22.22. Now we need to do the linear interpolation between these two values. That is, for L by D ratio of 30, it is 0.16. For L by D ratio of 20, it is 0.16. For the L by D ratio of 22.22, it will be 0.16, because these two values are constant. Hence, we can get the same value. In the same way, for the effective reinforcement ratio of 0.1, again we need to do the interpolation for the L by D ratio of 22.22 here. For L by D ratio 30, it is 0.3. For L by D ratio 20, it is 0.32. On linear interpolation, we get the value of 0.315 for the L by D ratio of 22.22. Now we got these two values. It is L by D ratio, that is XU by D ratio for the L by D ratio of 22.22. Now again we need to do the interpolation in order to get this value. For effective reinforcement ratio 0.05, we have 0.16. For the effective reinforcement ratio 0.1, we have 0.315. Now for the effective reinforcement ratio of 0.086, we need to do the linear interpolation. On doing the linear interpolation, we get the value of XU by D as 0.271. That is, XU by D is equal to 0.271. Again, on cross multiplication, we get the value of XU, that is depth of neutral axis. XU is equal to 0.271 into 1800, which is equal to, we get the value of 487.8 mm. Now this value is to be compared with the depth of the flange. Depth of the flange is 350 mm. Depth of the flange is 350 mm. Now we got the XU value as 487 mm. It implies that XU is greater than depth of the flange. Now our assumption is wrong. That is, we have assumed that neutral axis will going to lie inside the flange. That assumption is wrong. Now we need to do the other assumption, that is neutral axis lies inside the web. Then we need to write down the expression, that is C is equal to T. Compressive force is equal to tensile force. Compressive force 0.45 FCK into breadth of flange minus breadth of web into depth of flange, which is equal to tensile force Fp divided by APE. In this problem, Fp value is not given. On referring the data, we will not notice the value of Fp, only as mentioned the value of Fp. In this condition only, we need to substitute the value of Fpe. Otherwise, we have to substitute the value of Fp. On substituting FPE and simplification, we get the APF value. That is, APF is equal to 5832 mm square. APF is equal to 5832 mm square. Now, APW is equal to AP minus APF, 7000 minus 5832, which is equal to 1168 mm square. 1168 mm square. That is the value of APW. Now, again, we need to calculate the new effective reinforcement ratio. That is APW FPE divided by breadth of web into effective depth into FCQ. APW 1168 into FPE 1200 divided by breadth of web 240 into effective depth 1800 into 45. Now this is the new effective reinforcement ratio, 0.072. 0.072. Now for this effective reinforcement ratio, for the ratio of effective span to the depth, that is for the L by D ratio of 22.22, we need to calculate the value of FPU by FPE and also XU by D. First, calculating and referring the table number 12 on linear interpolation, as I explained in the earlier case, we get the ratio, that is FPU by FPE as 1.272. Again, on cross multiplication, we get FPU is equal to 1.272 into 1200, which is equal to 1526.4 Newton per mm square. That is the value of FPU. Again, bring the same table number 12, we get XU by D is equal to 0.228. That is, on substitution and linear interpolation, we get this value. It is for the effective reinforcement ratio 0.072. Now, on simplification, we get the depth of neutral axis as 410.4 mm. Again, in order to calculate the moment of resistance of the section, we have formula. Moment of resistance of the entire flanged section is equal to moment of resistance offered by the web region plus moment of resistance offered by the flange region. On substitution and simplification of the values, we get the moment of resistance of the section as 14,239.2 kilonewton meter. So this is the solution to the problem. The fifth problem. Next problem. It is a post-tensioned unbonded pre-stressed concrete. Okay, we need to follow table number 12. Section having breadth of flange 1200 mm, depth of flange 150 mm, breadth of web 300 mm, is pre-stressed by 4700 mm square. AP is equal to 4700 mm square of high tensile steel located at an effective depth of 1600 mm. In this problem, it has directly given the effective depth, that is small d is equal to 1600 mm. FCK is equal to 40 Newton per mm square. FP is equal to 1600 Newton per mm square. The L by D ratio is 20, and the effective pre-stress after all losses, that is FPE, is equal to 1000 Newton per mm square. Estimate the ultimate flexural strength of the unbonded section. Means we need to again follow the table number 12. In this problem, he has given the L by D ratio 20. First, we need to assume that the neutral axis lies inside the flange. We need to calculate the effective reinforcement ratio, AP FTE divided by breadth of flange into effective depth into FCK. On substitution and simplification of the values, we get the effective reinforcement ratio as 0.06. First, we need to calculate XU by D ratio. For effective reinforcement of 0.05, and referring table number 12, it is 0.16. For effective reinforcement 0.1, it is 0.32. In this case, the effective reinforcement ratio is 0.06. On linear interpolation, we get XU by D ratio as 0.192. Again, on cross multiplication, we get XU as 307.2 mm. Now, it will be compared with the depth of the flange. The depth of the flange is 150 mm. In this case, we got XU as 307 mm. It implies that XU is greater than depth of the flange. Therefore, our assumption is wrong. Next, we need to assume that the neutral axis lies inside the web. Then we need to equate the compressive force with the tensile force in order to find out the APF value. 0.45 FCK into breadth of flange minus breadth of web into depth of the flange, which is equal to FP into APF. In previous problem, we substituted FPE at this point because in that problem FP value was not given, but in this problem FP value is given. If FP value is given means directly we need to substitute that FP value. Again, on simplification, we get the area of pre-stressing tendon for the flanked region as 1518.75 mm square. If APF is known, AP will be given in the data. We can calculate the APW. That is, APW is equal to AP minus APF. Now, APW is equal to 3181.25 mm square. Now we need to compute the new effective reinforcement ratio, that is APW FPE, breadth of web into effective depth into FCK. On substitution and simplification, we get the new effective reinforcement ratio as 0.165. Now for this new effective reinforcement ratio and for the L by D ratio of 20, we need to calculate the FPU by FPE ratio and also XU by D ratio. Again, on cross multiplication and simplification, we get FPU and XU. Once these two values are known, we know the equation to calculate the moment of resistance of the flange section. On substitution and simplification of all the values, we get the moment of resistance as 8.439 into 10 raised to 3 kilonewton meter. This is the solution for this problem. Next type of problem. It is a box girder, a post-tension bridge girder with unbonded tendons. Means again we need to follow table number 12. Of box section of overall dimensions 1200 by 1800 with wall thickness of 150 mm. Say overall breadth of the beam is 1200 mm. Overall depth of the box section is 1800 mm. The wall thickness is 150 mm. Means we need to write it here. Breadth of the box girder 1200. Overall depth of the box girder 1800. And thickness of the web or thickness of the box girder as 150 mm. Like this, we have to make the sketch. The high tensile steel has an area of 4000 mm square is located at an effective depth of 1600 mm. It is effective depth small d is directly given and AP value also it is given. The effective pre-stress in the steel after all losses is 1000 Newton per mm square. That is FPE is equal to 1000 Newton per mm square. And the effective span of the girder is 24 mm. Sorry, 24 meter. If FCK is equal to 40 Newton per mm square, FP is equal to 1600 Newton per mm square, estimate the ultimate flexible strength of the section. So this is the given problem. First we need to write down the box girder and list the data based on the given. Now we need to find out this L by D ratio, length of the effective length of the box girder it is 24 meter, effective depth it is 1.6 meter. Now we get the effective span to the depth ratio as 15. First we need to assume the neutral axis lies inside the flange. This problem alli direct web anta bardiddare, but as it is now adhe procedure prakarane follow ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. First we need to assume the condition that the neutral axis lies inside the flange. Then if the neutral axis is exceeding the depth of the flange, means if in that case if we get XU greater than 150 mm, then only we need to proceed for this step. ಈ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ previous condition ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದನ್ನ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ first we need to prove that XU is greater than depth of the flange, then only we need to proceed for this step. First we need to do that. ಅದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಕಿಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Okay, that step has been skipped here, but we need to do that. First we need to assume that the neutral axis will going to lie in the flange. First we need to calculate the effective reinforcement ratio, AP FPE divided by breadth of flange into depth into FCK. That effective reinforcement ratio we need to calculate. Then we need to prove that that XU is exceeding the depth of the flange, then we will come to this step. ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು. In this step, assuming neutral axis lies in the web, then we need to equate compressive force with the tensile force. We need to calculate APF. Once the APF value is calculated, we need to calculate the APW, that is AP minus APF. We get the APW as 2481.25 mm². Now we need to calculate the new effective reinforcement ratio, APW FPE divided by breadth of web into effective depth into FCK. Now we get the new effective reinforcement ratio as 0.129. For the L by D ratio of 15, we need to do the interpolation values. This 15 L by D ratio is not mentioned in the core book. By interpolation method, between L by D ratio 20 and L by D ratio 10, we need to obtain these two values. That is for the effective reinforcement ratio 0.1 and 0.15. Then again on linear interpolation, we get this ratio XU by D here 0.129 as 0.427. The value ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. XU by D is equal to 0.427. XU is equal to 0.427 into 1600 mm is greater than depth of flange. Therefore the assumption is correct. ಈ ರೀತಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಅಥವಾ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಫಸ್ಟ್ we need to assume it like the neutral axis will going to lie in flange. There we need to first prove that is XU is greater than depth of flange. Then we calculate FPU by FPU value. Once we know the XU and FPU value, these two values, we can substitute in the moment of resistance equation to calculate the moment of resistance of the flange section. This is about the solution for this problem. This problem alli eradu cases na madabodu. What we have done here, this is also right because we are proving here that is XU is greater than depth of flange. Therefore the assumption will be right. Also we can prove that the neutral axis lies outside the flange. By assuming that neutral axis lies inside the flange, we are going to prove that the neutral axis will going to lie outside the flange region. Then we need to assume neutral axis lies inside the web. Both the procedures are correct. Coming to the next problem. A pre-tension beam of rectangular section 300 by 700 mm is stressed by 800 mm² of high tensile steel located at effective depth 600 mm. The beam is also reinforced with supplementary reinforcement consisting of 4 bars of 25 mm dia of Fe 415 grade HYST steel located at 100 mm from socket. Estimate the flexural strength of the section. Assume characteristic strength of the tendon as 1600 Newton per mm² and characteristic strength of the cube of the concrete as 40 Newton per mm². In this problem, he has mentioned two types of steels. That is, area of steel 800 mm² directly as given at some point, and also he has given the area of reinforcing bars. That is 4 bars of 25 mm dia. 4 bars of 20. Now first we need to calculate that area of steel. That is AS is equal to 4 numbers of bars as given, 25 mm dia, 4 into 5 d square by 4. We get area of steel as 1963.5 mm². Now we need to go through this. That is, the untensioned supplementary reinforcement is replaced by an equivalent area of pre-stressing steel by using the formula AS into Fy divided by Ft. Means for this area of steel, we need to replace with the equivalent area of the pre-stressing steel. How to calculate that equivalent area of pre-stressing steel means we need to use this formula, that is AS into Fy divided by Ft. AS is area of the steel, what you have calculated here, 1963.5 into Fy, HYST bars, it is ultimate strength will be 415 divided by Ft, 1600. On simplification, we get it as 509.28 mm². Now this 509.28 mm² is to be added with the 800 mm². The 800 mm ಏನಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, high tension steel ಜೊತೆ Retention steel with a supplementary reinforcement na, that is of grade 415 grade na add ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. It is equivalent ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು 509.28 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 509.28 plus 800. Now the AP will be 1309.28 mm square. 1309.28 mm square. Again, the procedure will be same. It is a rectangular section. So we need to calculate AP FP divided by B into D into FCK. AP, that is this value 1309.28, FP 1600 divided by 300 into 600 into 40. That is effective depth. We need to substitute here. Overall depth is 700. Here he has given the effective cover as 100 mm. 700 minus 100, effective depth will be 600 mm here. 600 into FCK 40. Now the effective reinforcement ratio is 0.29. Since the given is a pre-tensioned one, we need to follow table number 11. Table number 11, we are going to calculate the value of this FPU divided by 0.87 FP. On cross multiplication, we get FPU value. Again, from table 11, we get the XU value. On substituting these two values in the moment carrying capacity of a rectangular section, we get the moment of resistance of the section. It is 803.25 kilonewton. This is the solution. The only change with previous problems is we need to calculate the effective equivalent area of free stressing steel in this problem by using this formula. It is AS into Fi divided by Fp. Again, we need to add with the 800 because here the grades of the steel will going to change. Here 800 mm square, it is of high tensile steel wires, but these 4 bars of 25 mm dia are the Fe415 grade steels. Here the high tensile steel is used, but these 4 numbers of 25 mm dia bars are the lower grade, that is 415 grade. But we need to convert this area into high tensile steel area by using this formula. That is the change in this problem. Next problem. A symmetrical double T section has a breadth of flange of 1200 mm in total and 140 mm thick. 140 mm is the thickness of the flange. The overall depth of the beam is 1700. Overall depth, this from top of the flange to the bottom of the beam, 1700. 1700 mm. And thickness of the rib is 150 mm. Then the thickness of the rib means the web is equal to 150 mm. These two are 150 mm. The number of the member is pre-stressed with an effective force of 7,500 kilonewton through cables located at a distance of 150 mm from the soffit. Effective cover, it is given 150 mm. If you subtract this effective cover in the overall depth of the beam, 1700 minus 150, that will be the effective depth. The characteristic strength of the concrete is 40 Newton per mm square. In this problem, he has mentioned that he has not given the stress in the steel. He has given the force in the steel, that is effective force in the steel. But we need to calculate the stress. Stress is equal to load by area. Area is equal to load by stress. Cross multiplication. Area is equal to load by stress. Load is 7,500 kilonewton. Stress 1,600. It is given FP. Then we can calculate the area of free stressing steel as 4,687.5 mm square. Now we need to look which type of bonding it is. Also, he has given in the question that assuming that grouting is 100%. Well, grouting is 100% means it is a bonded one. Means it is a pre-tension element. Determine the ultimate moment of resistance of the section. Adopt IS 1343 provisions. Take Fp is equal to 1600 Newton per mm square. So this is the given conditions. Now effective bond means that is the gap between the cable and the duct is filled with the cement slurry. The bond is called effective bond. I already explained about these two conditions. What do you mean by effective bond? What do you mean by unbounded section? In case of unbounded section, the gap will be left as it is. Hence, the gap is not filled with the slurry, cement slurry. Okay. Now we need to calculate the AP P divided by B into D into FCK. AP FP divided by B D FCK is equal to 0.1. Now XU by D, first we have assumed that the neutral axis lies inside the flange. We have calculated XU by D as 0.217. On cross multiplication, XU is equal to 0.217 into effective depth 1550. How to get this one? Effective depth means in this overall depth of the beam, we need to subtract the effective cover, that is 1770 minus 150, that is equal to 1550 and 1750 mm. Now, for this effective reinforcement ratio, we have evaluated XU by D. If this XU is greater than depth of flange, in this calculation we have 336.35 mm, which means that it is greater than depth of flange because the depth of flange is 140 mm, but XU here it is 336 mm. Therefore, our assumption is wrong. Neutral axis lies inside the well. Now we need to calculate the KPF value by equating compression with the tension. On simplification, we get APF as 1417.5 mm square. If APF is known, we can calculate the KPW value. APW will be equal to AP minus APF. Yes, we got the APW value as 3270 mm square. Yes, again we need to calculate the new effective reinforcement ratio, that is APW FP divided by breadth of web into D into FCK. Now here the breadth of web we need to substitute, that is here 150 mm plus 150 mm means we need to substitute breadth of web as 300 mm. Breadth of web as 300 mm in the next case. Breadth of web as 300 mm. Breadth of web is 300 mm. On simplification, on interpolation, we get FPU value and also XU value from table number 11. Once you know FPU and XU values, you can calculate the moment of resistance of the section. Then the other problem, a post-tension PSC T-beam with unbounded tendons, unbounded, table number 12, is made up of flange 300 mm wide, 150 mm thick, and thickness of the ridge is 150 mm. The beam is pre-stressed by 24 high tensile wires of 5 mm dia with an effective stress of 65% of the ultimate tensile strength of the wires. The wires are located at an effective depth of 320 mm. Loss ratio is 0.8. FCK is equal to 56 Newton per mm square. FP is equal to 1650 Newton per mm square. Estimate the ultimate flexural strength of the section assuming span to depth ratio as 20. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ AP ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂನ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ, ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ವೈರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ವೈರ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ in this problem? It is 5 mm dia wires, that is 24 numbers, means 24 into 5d square by 4. Now, that is the area of the pre-stressing tendon. FP ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ, but he has not mentioned the FPE. We need to calculate the FPE. How to calculate? He has given some of the hints, that is effective stress of 65% of the ultimate tensile strength, means in this 1650 Newton per mm square, we need to take only 65%, but in that also we need to multiply with the loss ratio. It is 65%, 65 by 100 into FP into loss ratio 0.8. On simplification, we get FPE value. FPE is equal to 858 Newton per mm square. The remaining procedure will remain the same. First, we need to assume that neutral axis lies in the flange. We need to calculate the effective reinforcement ratio and XU by D. If this XU is exceeding the depth of the flange, we need to assume that the neutral axis lies inside the bed. But in this problem, the assumption will be right as I saw it. Just we need to go through with this problem. Only change is we need to consider the FPE, that is effective tree stress in the tendon, based on the given data. This problem is also very easy. You can easily solve this problem. Next one, it is also same. It is also box filter type, as I explained. You can easily solve this problem also. This will be the analysis part of the flexural members.